You know, when I reflect on the journey to success, one thing always stands out to me: the power of will. It's an essential weapon for accomplishing anything you set your mind to. Imagine this: a ship with an optimal design, a talented crew, and the potential to explore new horizons, but with no captain. Without a captain, the ship drifts aimlessly across the vast ocean. This is how we are without inner drive. Can we truly weather life's storms and accomplish extraordinary things without the ability to take decisive action? Today, I want to take you on a journey to explore the art of self-motivation, breaking free from mediocrity and moving closer to greatness. Imagine yourself as an individual at a crossroads. You stand at a pivotal moment in life where you have to choose between two paths. One path is the easier one, the road of procrastination, self-doubt, and excuses. The other path is much harder, the road of courage, discomfort, and consistent action. Which path will you take? Procrastination, my friends, is a familiar foe, isn't it? It quietly creeps into our lives, steals our dreams, and robs us of our opportunities. But most importantly, procrastination leaves consequences in its wake, not only in our work, but also in our health and mental well-being. So how do we overcome this enemy? I want to share with you 10 timeless lessons from Stoic philosophy, principles that will help you steer the ship of your life toward your goals and truly take action. Let's embark on this journey together and explore how we can harness the power of Stoicism to move forward with purpose and clarity. 1. The power of will and action. Procrastination is the graveyard where dreams go to die. It's the place where potential is buried, forgotten, and left to decay. The power of will and action, however, is the antidote to this. But let's be clear, action is not just about movement. It's about purposeful, intentional decisions that shape the trajectory of our lives. It's about being deliberate with each step we take and knowing that each action, no matter how small, contributes to the greater whole. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The key to action, according to the Stoics, lies not in waiting for external circumstances to align, but in harnessing our inner power to decide. At any given moment, we have the choice to act, to move forward, and to take charge of our lives. And this is the core of Stoic wisdom, the recognition that while we cannot control external events, we can control our reactions, decisions, and actions. In moments of hesitation, it's not enough just to move. We must act rightly. We must choose to confront our fears, our doubts, and the discomfort of the unknown. The mind, when left unchecked, often tries to deceive us. It tells us that tomorrow will be a better time to begin. But here's the truth: procrastination thrives in the illusion of a better tomorrow. Every delayed decision, every time we put off an action, it builds a mountain of inaction. Small, unaddressed tasks grow into overwhelming burdens. Consider this example: maintaining physical health. How many of us have promised ourselves that we'll start exercising tomorrow? Days turn into weeks, and weeks into months. But eventually, the lack of action leads to health issues, problems that are much harder to fix than if we had started small and stayed consistent. One person, however, recognizes the importance of taking action. They make a simple commitment: to walk for 15 minutes a day. At first, this seems trivial, even inconvenient. But over time, this small habit becomes a routine, and eventually, it leads to significant improvements in their health. The key is not waiting for motivation to strike. Instead, the act of taking action, no matter how small, is what creates momentum. It disrupts the inertia of procrastination and sets off a wave of growth. 2. Embrace discomfort, the path to growth. The Stoics were not naive. They knew that growth never comes from comfort. In fact, true growth requires enduring discomfort and stepping outside of the safe cocoon of familiarity. This is the very essence of life, the friction that comes from stretching beyond our current limitations and confronting new challenges. Progress, the Stoics remind us, often feels laborious and difficult, like a sculptor chiseling stone. Each stroke may seem insignificant, but over time, those small efforts add up to create something extraordinary. The universe, according to Stoic thought, operates through interconnectedness. Every action we take, no matter how seemingly small, ripples out into the world and affects the greater whole. Imagine your actions as tiny ripples on the surface of a lake. At first you may not notice much, but eventually, those ripples combine and create waves that influence everything around you. This interconnectedness of action and consequence reminds us that the effort we put in today has an impact far beyond our immediate experience. When we invest in our growth today, whether by learning new skills, facing discomfort, or simply taking action despite fear, we create ripples of transformation that extend into the future. One of the key lessons the Stoics impart is that success is not built on untapped potential or talent, but on the consistent daily execution of effort. We all have dreams and desires, but without the courage to apply our knowledge and take consistent action, those dreams remain just that, dreams. Success requires applying effort, even when it's uncomfortable, and pushing through the resistance that arises. 3. The illusion of the perfect moment. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." How often do we find ourselves waiting for the perfect moment to take action? We think that there will come a time when everything aligns perfectly, the right amount of energy, the ideal circumstances, the perfect plan. But this is an illusion. The perfect moment rarely arrives, and when it does, it's often not as perfect as we imagined. The truth is that we often overestimate the difficulties of starting something new. We imagine the obstacles to be greater than they actually are. We wait for the stars to align, but in doing so, we let opportunity slip through our fingers. The Stoics teach us that we must take action in the present, not in some distant future when conditions are perfect. The power of now, the ability to act right now, in the present moment, is where true change happens. Imagine a person who wants to learn how to play an instrument. They may tell themselves, "I'll start when I have more time," or "I'll start when I feel more motivated." But if they wait for the perfect moment, they may never start at all. Instead, the Stoic approach is to begin now, regardless of the conditions. Start small, start imperfectly. Every moment you delay action is a moment you're losing. The power of the present moment is where transformation happens. The power of small, consistent actions. The Stoics understood the power of small, consistent actions. They believed that success does not come from grand, sporadic efforts, but from small, deliberate steps taken over time. It's the everyday actions, repeated consistently, that accumulate and lead to lasting change. This is a fundamental principle of Stoicism. Take the example of someone who wants to write a book. They may have grand aspirations of writing for hours every day, but this often leads to burnout. The Stoic approach would be to commit to writing just a few hundred words a day. 5. Action over thought. Don't get stuck in analysis. Paralysis. One of the most powerful lessons from Stoicism is that action is superior to endless contemplation. We often get stuck in our heads, overthinking, planning, and second-guessing ourselves. We imagine all the potential obstacles and risks, and before we know it, we've spent all our energy in the realm of thought without moving forward. The Stoics understood that overthinking can paralyze us. While thoughtful reflection is important, it must be followed by action. Think less, do more. When you find yourself stuck in analysis paralysis, remember that the only way to make progress is to take action. The Stoics remind us that we are not defined by our thoughts alone, but by our actions. So instead of waiting for the perfect plan, take the first step. You can adjust along the way. 6. Confronting fear. Building courage. Through action. Fear is a universal experience, and the Stoics did not seek to eliminate fear, but rather to face it head-on. Fear often prevents us from taking action. It keeps us stuck in our comfort zones, paralyzed by uncertainty. But here's the truth. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the ability to act in spite of it. Every time you face your fears and take action, no matter how small, you are strengthening your courage. The more you act despite fear, the less control it has over you. Courage is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. As the Stoics would say, fear is not a reason to stop, but a reason to go on. Conclusion: taking action in the present moment. In conclusion, the Stoics teach us that the journey to greatness is not about waiting for the perfect conditions or hoping for the right moment. It is about taking consistent action, embracing discomfort, and confronting fear. Every small, deliberate action compounds over time to create extraordinary results. Success is not born from potential, but from consistent effort. The time to act is now. Every moment is an opportunity to shape your future. The Stoics remind us that life is short, and we cannot afford to waste time in procrastination.